Well, here we are. Can you believe it?
Long time, huh?
Yeah, this is going to be one of our last conversations. I tried to explain how we know you guys because we've talked a lot about you in Pipeline, and we always call you Nico or whatever. Everyone calls you Nick. Oh, Nick. Oh yeah, Nick. So the reason I want to talk to you is obviously, basically family, but we're starting this support pipeline initiative, and you're one of the people who's been in the industry now for, I'm going to say, over 10 years.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
So because you're looking at maybe leaving Canada for a while, we're not too sure how long.
Let's call it a pause or a reflection time, maybe.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to grab you before you took off. So before we get going, for some people who don't know you, Nico, can you just, I guess, tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm from France, so not from Canada, but I've been here over 15 years now. Just wanted to see something different. Love France, but always willing to see something new. So I moved to Quebec first. That's where I got my degree, civil engineering. And then I wanted to learn English, so I moved west. Just, going along with opportunities, and there's been lots. So I just ended up working in the oil and gas, and specifically pipeline construction, and it ended up being a really good fit from civil engineering background to work in construction, because the funny thing is most pipeline engineer seems to be mechanical, from a mechanical background, and for a civil guy it was just perfect, and I've been going at it for almost 10 years and just having a great time.
So how did you get to Canada? Like, why Canada?
It was fun. It was just for an exchange, and I just wanted to see something else and see how people live, how people think, how people spend their time somewhere else. So I was just moving here for maybe 4 months at first. I just loved it so much. I've seen the opportunities. I've seen how dynamic the country was for young people. So I just kept on going. So that would always be the joke when I go home. Like when I moved to Quebec, I said I'll be back in 4 months, and I lived there 5 years. And then I said I'm moving west for a year to learn English, and then I've been here 10 years. So now nobody believes me when I say I'm going somewhere for a certain amount of time. But that's how you have to go, I think. Just go with the flow, and I was lucky enough to find those opportunities.
I know I've told you a million times, like most things in my life I see through the eyes of a dad.
Yeah.
And I cannot believe you moved to a totally different country. You break your parents' heart.
Well, he doesn't have a case against me. He's Dutch.
Yeah.
Moved for love to France, so... So if he says I broke his heart by moving, I can say you did the same to your parents.
Yeah, right on.
Except there wasn't an ocean between the two of them.
They must be happy to get you home, eh?
Yeah. Well, I've been making a point of going back home once a year. The COVID situation was kind of a challenge for sure. It was probably the first time I didn't go home for over 2 years and a half.
That's tough.
But, when you're in this industry and you work that much, you have to make a point about going home and see your family. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to so many people, like this industry is devastating on relationships and family. And you've experienced in some respects firsthand as well. Yeah. What I was hoping you could share, because I have my own version of the story I've told so many people, was how you became part of the Hermanson family, and I would love to hear your version of that story.
Well, for an engineer, that might have been a fun experience there, but the job I could find that I needed something to land on my feet when I arrived when I went to Western Canada. So I was working in a French camp as a counselor and teaching French to kids, and that was just a blast. And we would speak English to the parents, and that's why I had the blessing of taking care of Journey Hermanson, that young kid that probably wasn't that very tall at that time. And that was just a good time. And I had the chance to go for beers and nice food, a couple nights with my friends, the parents, and.
So when I tell the story, I talk about Nico, a young counselor kid, and I was working at I think Worley Parsons at the time.
Yeah, that's where you were.
And I think we were spending a lot of time in the field working pipeline, and I remember giving you my card, and I said, well, I work at an engineering shop. I have no idea what engineers do for a living, but I said if you need a job or some help, give me a shout. And I think you reached out, I'm going to say a couple months later.
Yeah, that was probably around October or so. Yeah. Because I've been living in Nanaimo for a little bit. I just enjoy the Vancouver Island is beautiful. But work-wise, for a young person, even though with the experience and all, I was getting impatient. So yeah, when I reached out and you offered me to maybe come visit Calgary for a bit, and I lived with you for a bit and taught French to your kids. That was the first stepping stone into getting into the energy family there, and then career started, so.
For sure. It was actually Marie's idea, because I remember talking to Marie.
She's the one with the ideas.
We got this kid who never needs a job, and she was like, well, why don't you have him come live with us, and he can talk to the kids French, because the kids were doing a French program in elementary school and junior high.
No.
And you can help him find a job. And, oh, yeah, okay, sounds good. And you came, and it was great.
It was a no-brainer just jumping on that bus from Nanaimo to here. Which was bad, by the way. Do you remember it caught on fire, and I had to stand on the side of the highway there, and I texted you, I might not make it tomorrow, but eventually.
That's the universe.
That was Greyhound.
The universe is probably trying to tell you something.
No, it was good times, though.
Yeah. No, and it was good, and I think I introduced you to Big Dave and Pipestone, and I think he put you to work helping to teach you.
Well, right away, that's where the bigger projects were starting, and that first one was that PTP by Chevron there. That's the first project that got my hands working on pipeline.
That one, and then after that, I think you ended up, JJ and Big Dave know each other really well, and I think you ended up helping him and Mac. Was it Macro?
That's correct. That was Macro, yeah. Between getting CGL, Trans Mountain, and some smaller things. But that was a good time for the industry, for sure.
Well, not many people walk away from pipeline, but you're definitely taking a pause. And that's good.
It's about time,
Yeah.
I think we didn't see how big those mega projects, despite the name mega project, were going to be. And I've noticed in the past that even if the work was tough in terms of hours and energy you have to spend on it, in the past 4 or 5 years it's become even tougher.
Oh, I'd say
and
for sure.
You have to take time for family and see what's next. So not saying it's not going to be pipeline construction. There's not a single minute I can say I regretted my career. I loved everything of it. But yeah, those mega projects have been hard on some people, just because of the workload, and we're still learning. That is a good thing though about these industries. We're learning, and we need to learn how to take care of ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah, and I talk lots about that with my friends, and I don't know what the answer is even now. So I've always done this career my whole life, but the jobs always seemed a lot shorter and less. I don't know what is less reporting. They just seemed less challenging somehow. And now, going back in the project that we're just finishing, where it went. So this is a basically 4 or 5 year project. It takes its toll on a lot of families. You know?
Does.
How do you manage some of those challenges personally when you were away working all the time, those hours?
Well, the first thing is just try to be healthy the most you can. You cannot be putting that many hours and not take care of yourself first. So that goes with sleep, that goes with eating, and that goes to everything that's between your ears there. Keeping a healthy network of relationship, that's probably the one that would be the top one actually. That means agree. At work and outside of work.
I strongly agree. I remember I've told people the story before, even when I was struggling a couple of years ago pretty bad, and I remember talking to Gunnar, and he just said, it's such a simple question, and I've thought about it so much. He said, hey, well, do you have any friend you can hang around with or whatever? And I remember pausing going, I felt like I didn't at work, long hours, all this kind of stuff, and I didn't really have someone I really connected with, you know. And then fast forward, not long after that, you know, I did meet someone, get to become friends with, and man, what a difference it made.
Huge
in my
difference.
life.
And like you said, that's the word, it's simple. Like it can be as easy as if you're lucky enough to have a little trail or something next to work. Take half an hour after work, go for a walk, just exchange ideas and all. Like, there's no magic recipe, it's all simple solutions there. You just have to make time for it.
Cool. I know your parents are probably looking forward to getting you back to France, but what else, like, what are you going to miss? I know you're coming back potentially to Canada, but like, what do you think you're going to reflect back on your time here and miss the most?
The people, for sure. No, the people. You know, we're not that different from both sides of the pond there, but just the way we interact with people. There seem to be lots of kindness in Canada, and also at work, it's lots about merit. If you prove that you're a hard worker and that you know what you're talking about, people won't question as much your degree, your training and such, and just care about what you get done down the line. So I think for a young person with a little bit of ambition and all, Canada's the country to be. You can build relationships and find opportunities just by talking to people, and people embrace it. Like, I started working for Macro, I was 100% Canadian. I came here with a stronger accent than I have now, and obviously being a kid and all, and I've never been or never felt like I was any different from anybody else, even though I was younger, different, from a different place. So Canada really embraces any member of its society as long as it contributes.
I think so. I mean, we're a relatively young country of immigrants anyway. I guess what's next? So if you look down the road even a year or two, because you're not coming to Canada potentially, you're heading home.
Who knows?
You don't know, eh?
I don't like to close any doors.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here 15 years, so it would be hard to say never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I've always wondered about France, because I know a few French friends, and I think you introduced me to David Genevois. Just a nice guy, nice family and stuff. And I've always wondered when it comes to France, for some reason, in my imagination, this could totally be wrong, that I always envisioned that they weren't as pro, natural resource development and pipelines and all this kind of stuff. And is that your impression as well? It hasn't changed.
It's true. Well, something that you have to put in perspective, because you don't see it that much here, is France actually runs a lot on nuclear energy. And we're lucky enough that there's no risks like there'd be in Japan or some other areas of the world where you're facing seismic risks. So a nuclear plant takes a little bit of room, but that's all it is, and we're used to just have those. So when you talk about pipelines out there, it's a bit trickier, but I mean, we also rely on gas, so it's not anti-business down there.
No, for sure. I guess you can go preach the gospel when you go back there.
I mean, Belgium made the first beer pipeline. So
I heard that.
Yeah, I've actually seen it.
Yeah. Is it just from a brewery just across town? They didn't.
Yeah, it just goes across town to the bottling, because they figured out it was better than running trucks from the brewing facility to the bottling factory. So,
cool. One thing that I know you just did with your dad was it the El Camino?
El Camino, that's right.
So we're talking about doing that next year. Tell me about that experience.
It's fantastic because you can just go walk. Basically, it's about the journey, not the destination. Because the destination is Santiago, but the journey is the fun. You just need to reach that point, and it doesn't matter if you follow the same path. So I've been, for my first time, going through that French way, it's called. It's the busiest one. And basically, the goal is just to walk and reach Santiago, and you're never in the wild. That's what's fantastic. You're just going through the landscape of Spain, but you're always crossing small villages. You can stop for restaurants, for lunch, for anything.
How many kilometers in total was it?
Well, my experience was about 800 because I started right away at the border of France and Spain. But I know people who've walked over 1,000 kilometers. I met people leaving from Holland, Hungary, just trying to make it to St. James burial ground there. And that's as good as an experience you can get. Cool.
I think it's pretty cool that you had the chance to do it with your dad, I think.
Yeah. 64, I think,
Yeah.
That's a good. If I'm a dad, I hope one day I'll do it.
Right on. So what's the plan? I know you said your mom's retiring. Are you doing a trip or acknowledging that milestone somehow?
Oh, of course we'll do.
Yeah.
I just don't know yet where.
Yeah.
Canada's in the list for sure.
Right on. Well, that's about it. I didn't have too much else to share. I just wanted to connect with you and put you for posterity on our little podcast and grab you before you left. Anyway, I guess that's about it. Anything else you want to share before you say farewell to Canada?
I'm not saying farewell.
Yeah.
I just hope I'll see you next year.
Right on. Sounds good. Okay, love you, bud.
Okay, love you too, man.